Hey, Zarina Matcha here. In this video, I'm going to discuss being a British author. Shocking, I bet you didn't see the title. I'm going to discuss what being a British indie author has been like for me and certain hurdles that other British authors might relate to. Websites that I use as an author, such as Fiverr, Booksweets, Bookcave, Authors XP, Story Origin, they are American-owned companies where they are created by Americans. The woman who edited my books, Anne and Around Midnight, is American because I found her via an author Facebook group, which is largely populated by Americans. Amazon even is an American company, which I published through. These companies also charge in dollars rather than pounds, which can make it confusing, especially working out things like the exchange rate. They usually encourage you to put the price of your book in American dollars. Even if you're primarily a British or Australian author, the price is usually American dollars. So let's say, for example, you had an ebook that was 99p in the UK, but it was $2.99 in America for some reason. They'd encourage you to put the price. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, if you've got two books and they're priced differently, that's why I usually make my books the same price in England and America, because then it's kind of easier. Because I use a lot of major author promo sites based in America, a lot of people on my email list are American. When I was doing giveaways, there was a little period where I was doing monthly giveaways to people on my email list, and I was shipping paperback books to America, which was obviously, got a little bit expensive, which is why I stopped doing paperback giveaways and switched to just ebook giveaways. Yeah, if you join my mailing list, then you'll get a monthly giveaway where I give away a free ebook per month. Yeah! And also, when people from the USA were trying to join my email list, particularly my Diana Vale list, a lot of them were saying, because on the form they were trying to put their birthday and they couldn't, because in the UK we do a DDMM, so today's date is the 29th of April, we'll do 29/04, but in America they'll say 04/29. British translation, 9/11 means the 9th of November, but in America it means September 11th. It's quite interesting. I mean, neither way is right or wrong. I don't know why we have a different system, because it just makes things really confusing. When I got reviews for Around Midnight, a lot of them were from Americans and Canadians who didn't really understand the British school system. They were still able to get the story, but they didn't get some of the British schooling terminology. My Kirk University series is based in the UK, and you can actually download a free short story. In the front of the story, I actually included a whole list of terminology relating to British schooling and education, because I thought that some American and or Canadian readers might not understand it. I'm going to be a bit devil's advocate and say that as a British reader, I see all the time in American books that American authors have absolutely no problem mentioning things like GPA and high school diploma and 4.0 and all these other terms which I don't understand. Reading is an international thing, and especially if we read widely, we're going to read books by authors who are from places that we're not familiar with. A beta reader on Fiverr even suggested, when I was working on my fantasy series, that if I were to publish it, I put a disclaimer in the beginning saying that it's written in British English, so as not to confuse American readers. From a numerical standpoint, I get it. There are more Americans than British people in the world. I obviously have some gripes about the representation of British people in American film and TV, because I am a big consumer of American film and TV. There is definitely a stereotype of Americans being very wrapped up in themselves and seeing the USA as the whole world. I know that US shows and films really don't help this. I've seen very, very narrow-minded portrayals of other cultures in American film and television, like Africa in movies like Mean Girls and Blended. Africa is portrayed so one-dimensionally. It's referred to like it's a country. It's very, very frustrating for British people who watch and consume American shows a lot, because most major shows are American. It's very frustrating, and it's very like, can you please not? Like, No, we do not all live in the 1800s and say things like cheerio, old chap. Definitely consume way too much American media, which is my own shortcoming, and it's something which I'm obviously trying to work on. But also, American media dominates the cultural zeitgeist, especially for British folk. We're very, very bombarded with American media and entertainment and music, and it very definitely overshadows stuff from other cultures, I think. And I really hope that as the world becomes more global, people will realize that we live in a global world and stop looking at everything through an Anglo-American lens. A reviewer for my first romance story, she said that she really liked how the book was set in London, and I was like, babe, it's not set in London, it's set in Kirk, it's set up north. Well, Kirk isn't a real place, but it's based on York. It's set up north in a northern university. A lot of Americans might not understand how culturally different Northern England is to Southern England. To my knowledge, a lot of Americans think of England or the UK and they just think of London, but obviously London is not the whole of the UK. And believe me when I say that Londoners are just as close-minded as Americans. And also believe me when I say that I am stereotyping Americans by saying that Americans stereotype British people. Irony! My perception of the USA is quite narrow-minded as well. Like, when I think of America, I think of New York and LA, California. Yeah, if you're American, by the way, please comment which state you're from. I know there's all these obscure states like Idaho and Oklahoma and Utah. AuthorTube is full of American YouTubers. As a non-American AuthorTuber, I get really excited when I see other non-American AuthorTubers, especially Brits. If you're a British author and your editor is American, then I recommend sending like a document describing British slang terms or the education system, you know, really highlighting those things because they probably won't understand it. British people, we use a lot more irony, we use a lot more sarcasm. British people are we're much drier. We tend to kind of say things and not really mean them. So for example, we say things like, oh yeah, I had a terrible day today. It doesn't like, I don't know, sarcasm is a very big part of being British. Even in my deliverance, I'm probably like that. Yeah, I had a bad day. Yeah, life just sucks, doesn't it? We should all just kill ourselves. Like, that's just how we are, because you gotta understand, like, we live on this tiny, horrible, cold island. It rains all the time. London is probably one of the shittest parts. See, I'm doing it right now. Hopefully, as avid readers and writers, we will all continue to realize that we live in a global world, that the world is international, everyone speaks and acts differently based on the cultures that they live in. And this is also the beauty of literature. It's opening up to worlds different from our own. So on a final note, the British AuthorTube community is small. I want to do a collab, like in last week's video, I mentioned that I want to do a collab with Black authors. I also want to do a collab with British authors. So if you're a British author, please comment and I will send you an email with questions to ask. I don't know if I'm going to do like questions for British authors or British authors talking about AuthorTube. And again, this isn't like about the British experience. It's more just going to be like talking about writing, like what kind of books do you write? What kind of chocolate do you like? Do you wash your hair every day? Let me know. Let's rock this platform from our tiny, disgusting, grisly island. It's not that bad. Oh, there's a police siren. See, that's how you know I live in London. Police sirens all the time.